all that you are, all that you were, and all that you are going to be is right here in this squishy fucking thing in your skull that has the consistency. Hey everybody, what is up? It is Stan the Man, and welcome back to another Stan the Man podcast. How are you guys doing today? Hope you guys are doing just fine. It is Friday, the 4th of February, 2021. As I mentioned before, how are you guys doing out there? You guys are staying safe, okay? Staying away from Omicron, staying away from people who have been cutting up your internet. Kids, hope you guys are staying away from teachers who want to beat your fucking ass because, man, that's one of the things that happened today on the island, okay? Okay, so I'm sitting at work and a buddy of mine goes, yo, some teacher at Ibero. Ibero is like an American high school here on the island. And I don't know what happened. There might have been like a heated exchange of words, and the teacher and the kid decided to tussle. Now, normally I don't advocate for that sort of stuff, but okay, look, to me, like especially with how kids are, behaving these days in class, I'm just looking at people say the teachers are mature for dealing with them in such a way. Nah, it's pretty obvious that the way that some of these children are behaving in class, it's pretty obvious that they do not get punished for certain actions. And by that I mean they don't get their ass whooped at home. You can't say that. That's abuse. Have you ever grew up in the Caribbean? Oh man, like all these freaking all these freaking poo-poo baby pee-pee pants kids these days. I sound old, but I'm just comparing like what's going on with them to what happened to me when I was like their age. And I'm not even old. I'm 24. I'm in the prime of my life. While you can already hear my walking cane and my Crocs shuffle across the floor as I try to read a book with glasses, squinting because my eyesight is so freaking bad. Now, a lot of shit's been going on since the last podcast. Again, the internet bandits. You guys remember the internet bandits that I talked about during the last podcast? The guys who decided to cut the fiber optic cable of Seitar and basically leaving half of the island in the dark for about a day and a half. Yeah, it seems that they have struck again, this time setting their sights on a Taco Bell. As I mentioned in a previous video, of course, what every thief would imagine the mother lode would be at, okay, where every thief would think, okay, now this is where I'm gonna find the big-titted women, this is where I'm gonna find the huge pile of fucking gold inside the greasy halls of Taco fucking Bell. So yeah, I don't know why they decided to like cut the internet cable and just enter Taco Bell. I think they just saw one too many there's a plane right now, and then I think they saw like one too many Mission Impossible movies. They see like what Tom Cruise has been doing, and they're thinking, you know what, I can definitely do that. Yeah, who needs proper training when it comes to this shit? I can do that on my own. Oh man, but there's also some other shit that's been going on today, man. This is the type of shit. It correlates into the video that I want to make in the next few months. Okay, I'm already in contact with the people. I've done the interviews so it's just a question of collecting more information and eventually writing a script to give that information in a chronological order. There was this dude who got caught jerking off near kids at the local library, and then he got caught jerking off again to like what appears to be a woman with her child at a beach in Oranjestad. This place is full of tourists and stuff like that, and dude, he got caught in HD, man. The video has been all over freaking Facebook. The only reason how I saw it today is basically how it got shared to me at work. Like my girlfriend showed me it. No, my girlfriend fucking showed me it, and I've been like fuming at it ever since. But that's a topic for another day. Like one of the main topics, actually no, not one of the main topics. The main topic that I have for this podcast is basically, all right, it's no stranger to you guys that I am in the Royal Dutch Marine Corps, okay, specifically Arubaanse Militairen. It's a faction of the Royal Dutch Marine Corps here on the islands. Think of it as like the island's own militia, pretty much, okay? Curaçao has one too. And I recently achieved the rank of corporal by completing the VVO opleiding. And I got sights on becoming a lieutenant further down the line if everything goes well, hopefully. And I don't know. Okay, when you join up in the military, they don't tell you certain things, how certain things you get trained for will eventually change every aspect of your work, not just your working life, but your regular civilian life outside of base, because you're on base for about 8 hours and then you go home. Okay, but the reality of the situation is that once you complete your training, once you don that uniform, once you swear that oath, okay, you're a member of the military 24/7. Okay, you don't stop being a Marine when that clock hits 0 and it's time to go home. You are a Marine from the moment you wake up and the moment you go to bed, and even when you freaking sleep. Okay, that's the simple matter of things. Okay, and I have like a goofy way of like walking around talking and shit like that. Okay, I have like a very bleak outlook on the world and a very cynical view of the world, and people find that entertaining to listen to sometimes. But one thing that some people have already been asking me is like how certain aspects of the military has changed my life for sometimes the better, sometimes the worse. And I thought I would like try to go over them in this podcast, because there are some things that genuinely help me out. Okay, there are some things that genuinely help me out. I mean, the military has given me a work ethic that I never thought that I would ever have in my life. I have never been more productive in my 24 years of being alive until I've actually joined up and actually got my shit together. Okay, because before that, I was literally halfway into becoming a loser. So yeah, how the military changed my life. I'm going to start with mind over matter. And I know this sounds typical. Many people know this, but do they actually listen? All right. The mind, people seem to forget that the mind is a very powerful fucking thing. All that you are, all that you were, and all that you are going to be is right here in this squishy fucking thing in your skull that has the consistency of Jello. I'm not freaking joking. I look it up. The brain, it looks like Jello. All right. How you use it will shape the rest of your freaking life. Now, how am I going to talk about this? Okay, back during the corporal course, this was before we had to go back to Aruba because the experts thought our hearts would fucking explode or some shit, but nah. We'd all just gotten out of COVID, and it was painfully obvious that we were not doing too hot, all right? We were not doing too hot, okay? I had just recovered from a fucking heat stroke, and I had Bell's palsy too. I was on prednisone, and the side effects of that fucking shit was terrible, and like literally half of my face did not work. I couldn't blink properly. I couldn't eat properly. None of that shit. Okay. Needless to say, I felt like a walking, talking bag of shit. Okay. But it didn't help that we had a 10-kilometer exam that day. Now, the 10-kilometer exam is actually very simple. All you have to do is run 10 kilometers in under 52 minutes. Okay, this is something before I got COVID. This was something that I was able to achieve, that I used to be able to achieve very easily. No problem there. I could do 10 and 49, 10 and 48. Okay. Now it's exam day, and not only am I looking like shit, but I also feel like shit. And the instructor knew this. The instructor knew, especially with all the other guys that came out of COVID, okay, he knew we weren't doing too hot. So he basically gave us a choice. He said, okay, gents, no exam today. If you want to do the 10K, you do the 10K. But if you want to do an interval to build yourself back up, okay, you could do that too. Now, immediately I look over and I see all these other guys who raised their hand, who had COVID, okay, raise their hands and go to do the interval instead of trying out the 10-kilometer. And I nearly freaking joined them. I remember thinking, ain't no way I'm even going to get close to doing 10K in my current state. All right. There is no possible way that I'm going to be doing this. All right. I'm still wheezing, but then I got like this nagging fucking feeling in my head. This nagging feeling came back to me and just meant, you know what? That's it. So that's it, huh? After everything you've been through, you're just going to take the easy way out? Now, for those who have been listening to me since this podcast's inception, okay, you guys know who you are. Thank you for sticking along, okay? You know that I may have some anger issues, okay? I am a very blunt person, and I let my anger usually just try to boil over, okay? Most of my energy comes from anger, basically, all right? And now, okay, I got anger issues, and I could feel the anger start to build in my chest like a pressure cooker bomb or getting ready to go. And I want to be mad. I want to be mad at someone, but I look around and there's no one to be mad at, no one but myself. And I was letting myself know that I was mad, all right? You big fucking pussy, all right? You're going to take the fucking easy way out here? I thought you were corporal material. I guess we were both disappointed. And yeah, but that's basically when I just snapped at my fucking self. I thought, you know what? Fuck it. All right, just fuck it. Fuck it. I turned around and I joined the guys who were doing the 10K. At that fucking moment, I decided I was going to give it my all. Even if I didn't get the 10K, even if I didn't make it, all right, in my mind, I thought, all right, cool. I can use this as an example. If I make it, great, perfect. If I don't make it, at least I'll know where my endurance is at for the next exam. All right, that was my whole thought process going into it. Okay, the instructor gave us a signal. The clock starts ticking. That fucking clock, it starts ticking down. Right, and we're off. I'm running. I am not having a good time. I am not having a good time during this run. I think this was the run that made me hate running. Okay. After about 5 kilometers in, I'm starting to wheeze. My chest feels like it's about to freaking explode. All right. Oh, man, I kept fucking running. I felt like if I just kept going, I might just pass out. But I just kept running. I kept telling myself, don't fucking slow down for nothing. Do not fucking slow down. Do not allow yourself to slow down. But I was still slowing down. How? The guys on the sidelines, okay, they already finished their interval, okay, they're just egging me on, like, come on, you're doing great, dude, don't slow down. I'm like, I'm getting pissed at myself, man. So I picked up the pace, I picked up a pace, and at that moment, I didn't care what'll happen to me. I didn't care if I fucking passed out. I already had a fucking heat stroke. I know where my limit's at that point. So I just kept on running. And just one big sprint later, I make it across the finish line, and that's when they tell me, you know what? You just passed the exam. I passed by 2 seconds. Not exactly my best time, but I still passed. Now, here's the cruel twist. Here's the cruel fucking twist. Hang on, let me drink my water before I tell y'all the cruel twist. Stay hydrated. You can hear my voice just like, I'm sorry. Hey, how's it going? My name is Corpse Party. Nah, Corpse Party. Corpse Party is a popular horror Japanese game. I'm starting Corpse Husband. There he is. Hang on. Hydrate or die. Like, you don't notice how thirsty you are until you get that first drop of water and you start freaking gobbling it down. You become a slut for water at that point. All right. So, okay, now here's the cruel twist that I'm trying to tell you guys about right now. We still had to do the exam all over again because, as you guys already knew, everyone who had COVID, we had to go back to the island to give us some time to recuperate because, as I said, we did a bunch of tests. The docs did not like what they see, and it basically concluded that if we continued, our hearts would fucking explode or some shit. So that's why, bam, back in Aruba, where we recovered and trained. Now, I already knew in my fucking head, in this freaking piece of garbage brain, that even when I was sick, I fucking made it. I nailed the 10K, even when I was in possibly the worst shape of my goddamn life. And I was thinking, Christ alive, if I could make it if I was in my worst shape, imagine when I get back in the shape. dude, I'll fly across that fucking track. And we did. Oh boy, we did. We crushed that fucking exam the next time we did it. Now, what the fuck am I trying to say with this freaking story? All right. Your mind is a very powerful thing. It can either make you or break you, make you destined for greatness or failure. Becoming a master of your fucking mind, okay, and emotions is a powerful tool to basically allow you to achieve a level of discipline that can take your life from the ordinary to the extraordinary, from the mundane to the imaginative, okay? The only problem is it's not as easy as it sounds. Life is going to throw some curveballs at you, and you will encounter problems along the way. Life is full of problems, and you will always struggle. But if you develop a strong mindset and a strong mentality, buddy, you can deal with these issues, and trust me, you'll be able to weather out nearly any kind of storm. Now, it does have its drawbacks, and what do I mean by that is whenever I see people, we've been through a lot, me and the other guys, not just in boot camp, but in other stuff in my short time there. We've been through a lot, and eventually once you've gone through the shit that we like, what I mean by this, okay, staying up late in the soaking wet rain, having your feet just fall apart like Parmesan, losing toenails without even fucking feeling it, all that jazz, okay? Once you go through all of that, all the other problems in life just seems so fucking stupid. Like, you hear it becomes like hard to connect to people, and on some level you hear people complaining about these freaking problems that either do not exist or are easily solved, and you just automatically think, at least this is what I do, I automatically think, wow, these folk are fucking pathetic. You guys are fucking pathetic. Like, people who keep complaining about their daily grind, but they don't freaking release a single gram of effort to change it or actually change their habits in any way, shape, or form. Oh my God. It just fucking irks me. Especially now when society is entering an age where weakness is promoted and mediocrity is celebrated. We need strong minds more than ever. Okay, what else do I want to talk about? Timings, okay? And let me just check the notes. In the military, before the execution of any op, plans must be drawn and arrangements must be made. You can plan for months and months and months ahead, but even the best planned ops can literally end in disaster if you overlook one crucial detail: time. All right? Let me give you a hypothetical here. You're in the kill zone. All right? You're not the hit game made by the same people, not the hit game made basically about space Nazis. I'm talking an actual kill zone. Y'all remember that game? I'm getting sidetracked again. Anywho, you're in the kill zone, and eventually you call for your fire support element, you give... The fuck? Y'all heard that? Oh, well. You give your fire support element a certain time to start suppressing fire on the enemy position, okay? It gives them enough time to climb a hill or climb onto a vantage point and eventually begin firing on the enemy position. But before that happens, you guys gotta move. You and the rest of your fire team, you have to move out of that firing line. And while they're basically just pinning the enemy down, that gives you a chance to either form a counterattack to flank the enemy or bounce back to a safer distance. But something goes wrong. Comms are dead. You don't have your high visibility card. You ran out of freaking smoke signals. You have no way of telling your fire support element, your FSC, that, hey, I'm still in your firing line. Don't freaking shoot. The only thing they know is that, I don't know, maybe 0340, they start firing. What are you going to do? Are you going to let the fear take you? Are you going to fucking let the fear take over you? procrastinate, and just stay there and get mowed down by your own colleagues? Because that can't happen. And sometimes it does happen. Or are you going to get the lead out of your fucking ass and book it and get you and your guys out of there? Okay. Let's assume the worst. You let the fear take over you. Before you know it, your body is pumped full of 7.62 millimeter NATO rounds, and you and your fire team are wiped off the face of the earth. And you want to know the funny part? It'll be all your fault. And it is all your fault. Why? The fire support element had no way of knowing that you guys were still there. All they had were the timings, and they were following your orders. Okay? Now, the moral of this is you have to strive to be on time for everything. Time gives us the urgency to achieve certain things, okay? And get certain things done. That's why I work with deadlines, not just for myself. Okay, I don't know. On the other side of this room over here, there's my working desk. And on that working desk, there's a whiteboard. Okay, everything to me has a deadline. And I use deadlines for my team as well. It just gets shit done. All right, think about it. Okay, let me give you another example, okay? You set your alarm for a certain fucking time so you can wake up, make your bed or whatever, make your bed, brush your teeth, get dressed, grab a cup of coffee, and head out to work. Now, let's just say on this day in particular, you wake up a tad bit more lazy than usual. Hey, it happens to the best of us. You hit the snooze button. The alarm goes off again. You hit the snooze button. The alarm goes off again. You keep hitting that fucking snooze button, and before you know it, you don't even have time for coffee, bud. You just have enough time to put some pants on your ass and book it out the door and to just maybe get to work on time. All right. And even if you do get to work on time, if you do that constantly, you're constantly going to be in a rush, always stressing to just fucking make it out the door and reach whatever the hell you have to do in time. You're always rushing. You're putting stress on yourself, and I'm not sure that's something good to have happen to you in the long run. I'm not even sure if that sentence was grammatically correct, but fuck it. Always good to have water on you. I'm already nearly finished with this thing. This thing was full when I started. Okay? Anywho, or okay, maybe you're on like the extreme opposite side of this spectrum. Okay, maybe you're the type who's always late. Maybe because you just don't give a crap anymore, or you have no aspirations in life. Okay, or maybe you can't make deadlines because you're either procrastinate like a motherfucker, because I used to do that. I used to procrastinate a lot. All right, especially when it came to dishes. I hated doing the dishes. Okay, you're always full of excuses. Traffic was bad, my car was dead. All right, sometimes you may have a valid reason for being late for something. Okay, why there are certain things that we as simple human beings cannot control, no matter how hard we try. All right? But if you are consistently late when it comes to, I don't know, deadlines, showing up to work on time, showing up for a fucking warning order before an op, okay, it just gives me the impression that you are lazy or irresponsible or untrustworthy, or all three. And trust me, I've met people who are all three. I used to be someone who was all three. All right? You're not going to get that far. You're not going to get that far with that kind of attitude. You can give me all the excuses that you want. You can give the world all the fucking excuses that you want. But like it or not, the world doesn't fucking care about your excuses. It only cares about results. All right? Another thing, working together. Yeah, that's something. That's something I still struggle with, okay? Even though we are currently living in the most prosperous time in human history, the world can still be an unforgiving place. Okay, it can be a lot to handle and also a lot to face, but you don't have to face it alone. And if you're in a team setting, your team is only as strong as your weakest link. A typical thing that they did to us back in boot camp, I'm talking like 4 years ago, was something called tenue drill. All right. Basically everybody had to have like a particular set of gear on in a certain amount of time, usually between 2 or 3 minutes. And if there was one person who wasn't complete, who wasn't, finished, or just like everybody else, there would have been hell to pay. And unfortunately, I did not know that. Let me take you back about 4 years ago. Yeah, 4 years ago. I was young, bald, full of arrogance and hope. Oh, man. So, bald me, along with several other bald recruits, we were just standing in the scalding hot Caribbean sun at the Sufisan Naval Base in Curacao. Man, I just mentioned Curacao, and I'm getting like fucking chills. I don't even want to see Curacao on a map anymore. Anywho, we stood in formation and waited for further instructions from the staff. In front of each of us was a black duffel bag full of, our sports kit, books, pens, paper, that type of stuff. Okay, and think of it as like kind of our school duffel bag. And on the other side is basically Shrek's torso. I'm talking our ruck, a Crusader. It's basically like this big ass backpack that had all our gear. Okay, full of the gear that we were going to get very familiar with over the next 9 months, including our combat uniform. Then came the awaited instructions. Okay. We had 3 minutes to get changed into our combat uniform and stand in formation in front of the instructors. He didn't give us any tips. He just beeped his watch, and oh my god, the freaking the scene that played out in front of me, the scene that was playing out was that of absolute chaos. Everybody is rummaging through their bags with the ferocity and desperation of a fucking starved rat going through garbage. Okay, everybody's pulling out their clothes, pulling out the boots. Like, where the fuck is it? Now, eventually, I have experience with putting on like heavy boots and shit. I used to be a park ranger. We wore boots all the time. I'm used to walking around with heavy gear. I'm used to this shit. So, wait. A minute and a half, I'm all fucking dressed up, got my fucking hat on and everything, and I go to the formation line. Me and 3 other people are making, oh man, we're feeling proud of ourselves, and we're just looking like, look at those idiots struggling over there. Eventually, more and more people come and join the ranks, okay? Like, hey, yeah. Like, we're all just standing there, parade rest, like, yeah, look at us. Shame. Ladies and gentlemen, it did not end well. Eventually, the instructor said, stop. He hit his watch because we were already late. I think 9 people were on time, and the rest of the 30 guys were still struggling to get the boots out of their freaking bags. Everybody went down. We all went back, and everybody went down. They gave us a beasting, okay? Like carrying the Crusader, running with it. Some dudes were still in their freaking undies, like trying to get their freaking trousers on. And dude, they had to do push-ups like your hand is burning on the asphalt. It was fucking horrible. But there was a lesson in all of this. The instructor said, wow, so all right, look at all you. All right, the instructor told us, wow, look at all you guys, all arrogant. Y'all finished first. I bet you guys are really proud of yourself. Meanwhile, your buddies are over there still in the fucking shit. Are you going to leave them behind when shit hits the fan also? Okay, real simple. If you're done, help someone else who's fucking struggling. Because if one person fucks up, you're all going to get it. And that is a good point. It doesn't matter if you're the best at everything. If there is someone in your team holding you back, instead of cutting them loose, it's not as easy as that. You got to try to help them out, at least just a little bit. That is like one of the principles that they're teaching you here. Okay, you are as strong as your weakest link. Let's say if you're speed marching, you're speed marching, okay? This is the way how we balance each other, okay? The strongest stay way in the back of the group to make sure no one falls behind. They hold the pace, and the weakest, they are all the way in the front of the group okay? So to make sure they don't fall behind quickly and hold a certain space, and they don't have to like constantly speed up to catch up with the other guys up in front, right? It sounds pretty easy. Okay, another great way to actually like work together is also delegating. Okay, especially if you're in a leadership position. Okay, I suffer from the tendency of having this train of thought. Okay, if I want something done right, I have to do it myself. Okay, meanwhile, that is a freaking horrible trait to have. Okay, depends on what you're working, but it's a horrible trait to have. Sometimes you do have to delegate the work. Delegate the work to other people. Let's say we have to get a warning order or just have to get like a manifest done or some shit. All right, cool. I'll handle all the important shit, okay? You do that, and I want all that done. I want all this done by Friday. Okay? Good. That's how you get shit done together instead of like having all that work piled on top of your own fucking shoulder. You have to learn how to delegate, okay? Again, delegate, and more fucking delegation. Oh man, that's like 3 freaking things. Should I add another? I don't have anything else written on here for now, okay? It's basically just passing through notes, telling people, the shit that's been helping me out a lot. Not just in, my work life, but I've also taken the principles that I've learned in boot camp and throughout my career so far in the military and just applied them to my day-to-day life when it comes to everything else. One thing that I want to add here is that there is purity in pursuing physical pursuits. What do I mean by that? There's a fly in my room. Anywho, what do I mean by this? Mental toughness comes in many ways, shapes, and forms. But I do believe that there is a strong correlation between physical fitness and mental toughness. Okay, and there are small things you can do throughout the freaking day to just toughen your mind up. Okay, you know that thing you do when you go to take a shower, you just wait for the shower to warm up. Don't do that. Hop in there as quickly as possible. You'll save time, and eventually you'll get used to hot shower. You'll get used to cold showers. Okay, silence, absolute silence. The world today is noisier than it should be. There is too much noise, both physical noise and artificial noise. By that I mean the noise of social media and shit that you'll find online and stuff like that. And that's why sometimes it's okay to turn off from that. All right. I learned that during the soak-in period, right? Okay, whenever you set up your snap ambush or whenever you're going into your campsite or whatever, you have to do something called a soak-in period. Everybody stays silent with their arms around. Everybody stays silent, guns fucking ready for 10 minutes. This is for 2 reasons. 1, to make sure you're not followed, and 2, to let the surrounding area get used to your presence there. Eventually, you start noticing once you're in an area for the first time, the birds, they stop chirping. It gets dead silent in the woods. But then eventually everything is used to your presence there. The birds, they start singing. The lizards, they keep on scurrying, sometimes scurrying right over you. And eventually, you blend in. But when you blend in this certain way, you get to see everything. All right? You have sights on everything that's going on in this freaking sector. And that's how you get sights on everything that'll go on in your freaking sector. Okay, by just turning off the phone, going into fucking silent mode and just watching. And just watch, look, observe. Also in silence is where you can actually get the best ideas. Now, also another aspect, okay? Learn. your career doesn't end when you finish boot camp, all right? A lot of people, unfortunately, some of my own colleagues, they finish boot camp like, yep, time to kick up my boots and do nothing. And they stay a private until they're fucking 30. Well, nah. I can't do that, bro. I can't do that. You gotta learn. It doesn't matter how much experience. It doesn't matter how much experience you have. It doesn't matter what you've gone through. You can always learn and do more. Okay. Don't think. All right. Don't think in terms of freaking finish lines. All right. There is no finish line. There is no end. The only time where all this freaking ends is when you're cold and 6 foot under the goddamn ground. Rest is a luxury only afforded to those who have already kicked the fucking bucket. All right? Constantly learn, get new knowledge about your craft, and also learn stuff about civilian life. Okay? Be skilled in shit that you know is going to help out with your future. All right? And not just in book smarts, street smarts, okay? That's what do you think I love reading? By the way, I'm on the third chapter. I'm on the third chapter of This Is How They Tell Me the World Will End. And once I'm halfway with that, I'm going to start reading a brief history of life on Earth that I also got at Schiphol Airport. But anyway, back. You got to keep learning. All right. Why? Because there are people. I'm not going to mention any names, but there are people in my job who have been in the military for years. Sometimes freaking longer than I've been born, and they are so dumb. Like their stupidity sometimes does not just keeps finding ways of surprising me. But yeah. Anywho, hope you guys could take something away from this podcast. I've been rambling on for about 36 minutes right now, but I am going to end this right here. Tomorrow, I got shit to do tomorrow. Tomorrow, after that shit's done, I'm going to start editing this, so it'll be uploaded. You guys will see me on February 5th. But in the meantime, this is Stan the Man, signing off. Stay safe out there.